I'll give him a medal. I don't have a medal to give him, but I would love to see that. Just take whatever worked in game 1 for your opponent and just use it against them.
Now, I want to see what Suning will go towards. Will they want to just blind pick the Bard? The Syndra, of course, would be the expected first rotation red side pick here. You could also take something like the Thresh if you don't feel like Lei can play that Bard himself. But no, just kind of changing up what each team had.
All right, so we're just going to switch around here, but the Ornn comes through for Bin. So we're playing a little bit more towards the late game, but we're also playing towards that front to back that we criticized Suning for.
But this is, I'd say this is good, at least in a holistic sense of a draft, right? To where after the last game we said, hey, if they changed that top side and had a bit more of a front line, that would have been a more holistic teamfight composition. But when you do put in the context that it is Suning and they've struggled on this, that is a bit worrisome.
We'll have to see. Bin certainly has potential to improve. We'll see if the Ornn is going to work out for them. Harrow goes for the Trundle that we missed in game number 1. Up against the Ornn, it's just a fantastic pick.
And you got the 2 strong picks, still left in the meta since Suning didn't opt for either of them. Of course, the Trundle going to do so well. Be a frontliner. Forest Carry is going to steal the resistances from that Ornn. And the Syndra just so strong. And you'd already pointed out that Ruby didn't necessarily play bad that game himself. He had a pretty good early game, was doing fine in the laning phase, but the game just kind of collapsed around him.
Yeah, he was sat there with his cup of coffee, everything on fire around him, just like, this is fine.
I also want to highlight the fact that Lee Sin has a 60% win rate in the LPL. When you look at these champions that are more oriented towards laning, early game laning and skirmishing, things like this, they do well here.
Also, when you've got players with such insane mechanics that are willing to take risks, are willing to set up plays individually, SOFM is definitely a player that ticks those boxes.
It's definitely a mindset thing, right? You need to be willing to play on that knife's edge and push yourself and not be afraid of, like, oh, what if the enemy team is here? What if the enemy jungler here? What if I mess this up? To be able to play these champions at the highest level.
It's, as you rightly say, 60% win rate so far in the LPL as we move towards the bans. The Wukong taken off the board once again. This time around, Bin already had his top laner, so he's just looking for a good matchup now. Whereas Rogue Warriors, they remove Angel's LeBlanc, so we'll see a different matchup in that mid lane.
I'd expect him to go towards the Zoe at this point. They do have a lot of long-range pick on the side of Rogue Warriors, so it could be a bit risky, but when you think about things that are still decent in lane against Syndra that Angel does play, the Zoe is the standout to me.
Could see the Zoe coming on through. Mordekaiser was also banned, so removing some of these big team fight threats from Rogue Warriors and Kassadin. I mean, Kassadin was the one, really, for Angel. When you think back to Spring, you think of Angel on Kassadin, so I can understand that being the ban for Rogue Warriors.
Yeah, and you do have a couple different options. I was actually just going to point out the Galio if you want to try and play more around Huanfeng and put more agency on his role, of course. You also do have a lot of immobile carries on the side of Rogue Warriors, so if you can get in there with that taunt, you can pretty much just guaranteed kill them, but I much prefer to see Angel on a carry-oriented champion rather than this more supportive style.
And honestly, looking at the way that this Suning composition is starting to develop, what did we praise them for in game number 1? Just jump in on one target. What are we looking at right now? Everybody just jump in on one target.
I do want to point out a kind of sad stat that Suning did not pick up a win with Galio in the mid lane in Spring. They played it 3 times, and we're never able to find success with this type of style.
He's not going to lock it in.
I agree.
Don't you guys get excited? It's not going to happen.
At least moving over to the side of Rogue Warriors. Once again, we have a pretty good pick composition, a lot of single target damage in CC. You do still have a front line, so if we do get to these mid-game team fights, you will find some power, especially at the 1 and 2 item mark. Ash with the Blade of the Rune King, Syndra with the Ludens.
I'm really disappointed. It's not often that I'm upset that I'm wrong, or it's not often that I'm happy that I'm wrong, but wait, hang on. I fumbled this. I wanted him to pick Fiddlesticks. He didn't. He went for the Nautilus instead. Very disappointing.
I'm a big fan of middle sticks, as we'll call it, but moving Galio to support and then putting Fiddlesticks mid, I feel like in this composition wouldn't make sense. But still, Suning have a straight-up front-to-back teamfight composition. They have a bunch of frontliners, tanks with a Kai'Sa in the back line. You do have this kind of pseudo dive composition, right? Everyone is able to just jump in on the back line of Rogue Warriors. If they're able to successfully pull that off, they will find some success.
So let's dissect the composition a little bit from Rogue Warriors, because they've still got that Ashe to set things up, but it's not quite the same composition that we saw at Suning in game 1.
No, they've definitely all-ined a lot more on, they have elements for if they need to team fight, right? They have a Trundle, they have a set, so they have some disengage coming from the pillar. They have some engage coming in with set ultimate, as well as, you know, long-range tools like Death Sentence and Scout of the Week. They are able to try to kite out what Suning have drafted.
Yeah, the Trundle can be so effective, not just in the team fights, in the skirmishes. The pillar is a game-changing ability. We saw Carster's Trundle yesterday. Some of the pillars he was doing during the team fights were just mind-blowing. We'll see if Harrow can resemble that somewhat. We asked if Harrow was going to bring some AP into the jungle. The answer is no. He's sticking to what is standard here with the Trundle versus Lee Sin matchup. But we're going to head into game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. As Suning are feeling good off the back of a win in game number 1. And Rogue Warriors potentially grasping at straws here. And with the Ashe on their side this time around, we'll see if they're the ones to find the picks.
I want to see how aggressive Harrow goes to this early game, because early on is really when Trundle bullies out the Lee Sin, especially when you have Set up against Ornn as well as Syndra up against Galio. You will have some pryos to play around.
I'm going to see Rogue Warriors moving in to get some vision here. Just going to ward the blue buff and then back away. Suning stacking in this mid-brush. We could see a fight on our hands. Sword Art is here. Everybody's arriving. Holder, the first one to step in. He's taunted, as is Harrow. And Suning, they're going to be happy with that one. Take a kill, walk away.
I'm not sure if we're going to get to see Rogue Warriors play any League of Legends this game.
Well, they're playing League of Legends right now, Lyric.
We've had this conversation before. but
well, I mean, honestly, if you're Suning, this is great, right? If you could pick anyone on this team to give your first kill to, I'd pick the Lee Sin every single time.
I'd probably pick the Kai'Sa, actually, just with how the comp is going to turn out as the game.
I mean, that 300 gold is... Hang on. Harrow? Okay, shenanigans are afoot. SOFM's in trouble. Flash forward from Holder! Rogue Warriors, they're going to play some League of Legends, my friend.
Trundle does well into Lee Sin. We talked about the set in Ornn and Syndra into Galio. Of course, the individual lane matchups themselves didn't mean too much in this instance, but just a much stronger level 1 coming out from Rogue Warriors. And I was actually going to point out that it's disappointing that SOFM got the first blood, but it doesn't actually change the dynamic of how Rogue Warriors are going to play out this early game.
Yeah, I can understand that. I'm just excited that Rogue Warriors didn't just accept their fate on that one, realizing SOFM... While he got the kill, it was way too late for him to recall.
This is the beauty of Harrow, because Harrow is not going to just accept his fate. Harrow is going to go in your face, look for these fights, and try to create as much chaos as possible, get a ton of kills and snowball this game, 25, 30-minute win.
Which is really important when you look at the carries that they've got. They've gone for this Ashe. They've gone for the Syndra once again. So it's going to be all about getting the snowball and spiking really hard off of 1 and 2 items.
Right now we're seeing the mid lane matchup. Early on, definitely Syndra favored. When you pick things like Galio in the mid lane, you're a lot more of a neutralizing champion, right? You're just trying to clear the waves with your Winds of War and your passive, get to that level 6 point where you can get out of lane and find picks around the map, but you also set up for ganks very good with your W.
Certainly do. He's going to try and do exactly that, but SOFM was spotted out, so he's going to be able to walk away. Ruby going to play this one safe on the Syndra. And obviously Syndra, Ruby gets to do anything during this laning phase, as could have a bit of trouble in the top side. Worth mentioning as well, Holder playing this set, we've pretty much exclusively seen Set in the support role this split when it comes to the LPL. We've seen very little top lane Set.
Yeah, we haven't seen it almost at all, and doing very well in this matchup. Of course, it is Set favored. We'll have a fine time going up against the Ornn. He already did push in the wave, so it is bouncing back.
Nice little hook from Lei there, but Cleanse going to be used by Huan Fong. Holder. You're saying he's favored in this matchup. Bin's doing a pretty good job, though.
But he was looking for the extended trade where he would end up winning out, of course, with his passive as well as his Haymaker. But good job from Bin to disengage.
Arrow's moved in. Stun comes through onto Angel. Flash still available for the Galio. He's not even going to need it. Walks away with his life thanks to the phase rush.
Still okay. So luckily doesn't have to just outright burn that TP yet. Is going to be able to catch this wave and not miss out on anything. But let's take a few steps back to what happened in the bot lane with Lei burning Huanfeng's cleanse. This is a champion we knew Lei for in spring, right? Him and Xiaoxi were the first people to get on the Thresh hype train, and they were both very proficient at this champion, so Thresh is the type of thing we would expect to see Lei excel on.
Yeah, obviously incredibly good with the death sentences. And I mean, last game, it was much more that Lei was caught by Sword Art. It was very much Sword Art putting the pressure on his Bard. This time around with Sword Art on a Nautilus. I mean, you mentioned it yourself. There is a question of champion pool issues when it comes to Sword Art. We'll see if he's going to be able to do much in this game, as with a lot of pressure from Rogue Warriors, Wuji's able to just get some plays.
Let's add context to those champion pool issues, because Sword Art himself, definitely doesn't have champion pool issues, has shown that throughout his career, very versatile, can play any style, but in context of how Suning are finding wins in their games, it is very reliant on, I don't even say champions like the Bard, it's very reliant on the Bard itself.
It has been, I mean, the way to word it right is it's been somewhat of a plaster, a band-aid on their issues. It solves a lot of the long-range engage issues. It gives you disengage as well. It means that you can maneuver around mistakes a lot more easily.
Yeah, exactly, and we've seen when Sword Art is on other champions he's good on, right? The Nautilus, the Thresh, Leona. Not so much the Thresh, but the Nautilus and the Leona, these two champions that really need to commit to team fights, looking for these engages. We'll see him always going disjointed with whether it is Bin or SOFM, and let's say he'll get deleted first, or the other one will get deleted first, and then you're left in a very awkward position with, like, hey, what do I do now?
Where do you go from here? It's going to be the question, but taking a look around the map so far, we're seeing a much, much slower game out of these two teams, and a lot of that is going to be down to the fact that this Ashe was denied in the draft by Rogue Warriors. I mean, Suning can't be the ones to push that aggression, but the question for me is, can Jung Wuji be just as effective on this Ashe when they hit that level 6 mark? It's
also very different, so I'd say no for the fact that...
Ooh. Oh, hang on. Sword Art's found a pick, and Huanfeng has damage, but they dodge the death sentence and back away. They decide they don't really want to commit.
So going back, last game's drafts, the Ashe really supplemented the fact that it did have this hyper-aggressive topside with the Renekton, Jarvan, and LeBlanc. This time around, Rogue Warriors draft isn't as, relentless and bloodthirsting.
Yeah, not as cohesively just go in and dive. However, Suning have decided that it's about time that they go in and dive. Lei and Wuji in a whole bunch of trouble. Ruby has arrived, though. Death Sentence not quite going to connect. Nice dodges here from Angel, but he's still going to have to go in on this one. And has to flash away to safety, barely surviving. Safeguard to keep him alive. And Suning, they try and put some pressure on, but it's all just going to be neutralized.
And that's a really good read coming out from Rogue Warriors, covering that dive so well. And Suning not going to find anything. Holder building up an advantage in the top side as well.
Yeah, so far so good for the side of Rogue Warriors, being able to deny a lot of that pressure. As you rightly say, Holder winning out in that top side. Lei trying to find more picks here as Harrow moved into the bottom side, but not going to be able to get onto Huanfeng, and it means that they've decided this isn't really the play.
After pushing out this bot lane, I wonder if Rogue Warriors are going to go for the swap towards Herald. They have a winning top laner. They just got the push, but Suning right now are posturing, saying, hey, you're not leaving this lane just yet. And they themselves are actually going to look for the priority recall.
I thought maybe there were people around. There was not. It's just going to deny recall from SOFM, but still a nice long-range hook out of Lei.
It was really interesting to watch how we have Harrow stay bot, try to force a priority recall coming in from Rogue Warriors. Then as he leaves, Huanfeng and Sword Art posture so aggressively as SOFM come to try to get that wave advantage themselves.
And we have to talk about the fact that, like, when we look at these lanes, there is going to be a massive lead in favor of this Syndra when you're going in that Galio matchup. Angel is going to fall really far behind in CS. Suning have to find some advantages out of this Galio in terms of kills.
I agree. They need to... We already seen it once, right? You need to try to set up either this play around bot, or I'd say some kind of like skirmish and river around neutrals. You could look for a kill and holder, but when you have a Galio, an Ornn, and a Lee Sin, you don't have too much confidence in their damage.
Wuji did step out of the brush for a second there, but I don't think he was in range to be spotted by Bin. Now they're going to commit to the play. Bellows Breath on cooldown. Nice death sentence from Lei. And Bin might just get CC chained on in here, but the rest of his squad has arrived. Wuji pulls out on a Dark Passage. A Sword Art is denied by Harrow, but Harrow's put himself in trouble. Kick might knock him to safety, but Harrow finally goes down. Ruby stun just onto Sword Art. It's going to be one pick in favor of Suning.
Yeah, Rogue Warriors just engaged on themselves. It's really strange that Lei was looking for that hook when, if you had been looking at the minimap at that time, Paro was not around and Ruby was still in the mid lane while no one from Suning was showing on the map.
It's kind of interesting that Suning commits so hard towards this top side right after the Herald is gone. The Herald had already been taken and they're like, all right, 4-man play towards the top side. Dragon's about to spawn in 40 seconds.
Ultimately, though, they do have the Kaisa scaling up to be the strong late-game monster. They're only behind 400 gold, so Suning's not hurting too much, but Holder has just been left on an island and is winning out on both sides of the map against Bin.
And he's going for the Blade of the Rune King build as well, so it's not going to get any easier for Bin. Now a Herald being dropped as well. Rogue Warriors sending clear signals that that's where they want to snowball. Sword Art found by Lei, but they're not going to commit to anything here as Holder does grab himself that plate gold.
Yeah, so we should just be able to recon. We'll probably just have the Blade of the Rune King on base. He also does have TP to get to this dragon if Rogue Warriors want to be the ones to force it. And luckily, I mean, both bot lanes are top right now, so you wouldn't really be in an awkward position if you did try to start it up 3-man. And Suning's composition is very reliant on ultimates, and a lot of those ultimates are actually on cooldown.
And Harrow gets to just start this one off even without his team, right? Holder has the teleport available, Ruby can move over from mid lane, and realistically, there's nothing Suning can do about it anyway. So this will be evening the dragons up. There's going to be an Ocean Soul coming to the map.
Rogue Warriors still just stacking up small advantages. We are 1.4k gold up now, 1 dragon to 1 dragon, but Holder now having that Blade of the Rune King means Bin is not going to be able to sit in a side lane with him unless SOFM commits his presence to bot lane, but then Rogue Warriors have so much agency from that Ashe to make a play on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, not to mention that we're probably going to see, or I say probably, we are going to see another Rift Herald spawn in a couple of minutes' time. And at that point, you kind of need SOFM to be sticking around the top side of the map. Lei looking for more picks, looking for more damage on Sword Art. As he moves in to try and get some vision, but everybody stacking up here. Herald isn't available right now, but Harrow goes in anyway, and SOFM pulled in. Safeguard pulls him out again as he goes straight onto Harrow himself, but he doesn't have the damage. Rogue Warriors looking coordinated here.
Yeah, just great play coming out from them, kind of posturing for this fight, pulling Suning in, then good Enchanted Crystal Arrow coming out from Zhong Wuji. And
so my big question, Eric, is why? Why are both of our teams posturing around this blue buff for a full 4v4? Because there's no Herald, there's no Dragon. Like, what was the goal from Suning here?
I don't think there was a goal, honestly, much. Like, your big play from Suning, right, should be abusing your global out from the Galio. So you want Ruby to show on a wave, and then SOFM go towards that side lane, try to make a play onto Zhong Wuji, have Angel follow up, secure the kill. But Ruby had already moved, so all of Rogue Warriors was already there. And, yeah, Suning just saying, we don't care.
Sword Art is like, I'm going to get this wood, damn it. I died for it last time, but I will get this. Well, I guess he didn't die. SOFM died for him trying to get the wood, but finally gets a little bit of vision in that side of the jungle. And bear in mind, the Herald will spawn in a minute or two. I didn't actually get the timer on the first one, but in the meantime, that Ocean Drake will be up in 3 minutes, and we'll see which of those objectives the teams are going to prioritize.
We see Ruby pushing out, but he does feel fine because Lei, just off our map, is actually waiting in the wings on bot side, hoping that Suning will be the aggressors trying to bait out a skirmish.
Just clearing the wave as Lei moves in with Ruby to get some vision. SOFM and Sword Art are here, though. This could be an opportunity to try and make a play, but Angel not going to pull the trigger just yet. In the meantime, Harrow and Holder are like, look, you have no control of your bottom side jungle right now. This belongs to us.
Yeah, it's great to see Rogue Warriors just punishing Suning across the map. And I like that we're seeing the constant hover around mid lane because we'd already highlighted the fact that this is where the global is. So if you can shut Angel down from making these moves, that's really Suning's only advantage at this point in the game. Or potential advantage.
Look at the tower plate difference. That is insane. 1,000 gold in favor of Rogue Warriors. You see it reflected in the scoreboard.
Holder got to do whatever he wanted. Like, he was just left on an island punching away at this Ornn and the Ornn's tower.
I'm just impressed his knuckles are still intact, honestly. Because those towers are made of stone. And Holder just literally punches them down. SOFM has been found once again. No flash available for it. He's going to go in, though. I don't know why, but he really wanted that fight. It's not a great one for him. Now Angel is going to be alone. Unleashed power still available for Ruby. I feel like they could have got a second kill there.
Munchables, if you're going to ask me why are Suning posturing for this, Nautilus is up in top lane. SOFM can see Lei standing right next to Haro, and he still chooses to go in. Yeah. There is no explanation.
Questionable decision-making there. Lee Syndrome, perhaps. Lei has been found. Huanfeng should be able to finish this kill off, and in comes the Galio as well. Lei will go down, and Huanfeng finally gets a bit of gold for himself. Haro collapsing, though. Holder is here as well, and Holder is huge. Angel's there, and Swordot's trying to tank for everyone, but down goes the mid laner. And Rogue Warriors are already winning this one out. They're looking dominant in these fights.
Yeah, and Suning just pushing a bit too far, but we saw how the composition is supposed to work, right? Playing around your kill threat in a side, Nautilus going for the hook, Angel easily able to follow up.
And look, I'm sorry, go on.
I'll say then just pushing for a bit too much.
Honestly, the most scary thing for Suning this time around is Ruby looked okay in game number 1. This time around, he's on the same score, but without his team into.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, but they find the pick on delay, just walking into that brush blind. And here we see Rogue Warriors looking for the engage. Suning still committed to the fight. They really have no abilities. We see Sword Art also out of mana. Now with the rest of Rogue Warriors coming in rejuvenated, Set very strong, Trundle also very strong. SOFM not even there because he was already dead.
And once again, now is Suning looking for the play. And they did get one pick for themselves, but ultimately, you have to question, should you really be trying to make an aggressive play like that when you know they're on that side of the map with you and you don't have a jungler? And
this also brings us back to spring, where we had Suning try out a lot of these 4 protect 1 type of compositions, and they always lost, Munchables. Every single time. I remember I'd come to these games like, oh, I like the scaling on this Suning comp.
Would be disappointed every time. Wuji flashes away. Nice little jump, though, from Bin to keep himself safe. In goes Sword Art, and maybe SOFM gets a kick, though. It goes straight onto Wuji. It's an 80 carry down for a jungler. Ruby is in trouble. Huanfeng goes in. They're trying to protect the carry. Depth charge onto Ruby, but there's no follow-up damage. And Huanfeng, now the one in trouble himself. He goes down to a showstopper and a half. Bin now trying to turn it, but he doesn't have the damage. And Rogue Warriors win again.
Yeah, Rogue Warriors is coming in so clutch. SOFM making it look like he'd found something, getting that kick on the Zhongwuji, but this actually highlights the point that these sorts of compositions just look like they lack so much damage. We saw an extended skirmish going on, and even with Zhongwuji down and Ruby having no ultimate, they weren't able to kill anyone.
And like, look, Huanfeng tried his very best. He goes so deep in this fight, but he's an early game Kai'Sa. You don't get to do much.
Nope, and we see Suning try to engage, then Rogue Warriors turn, find the pick. We see SOFM get the kick, and then they do take down Zhongwuji. I actually didn't get to see who Ruby used his ultimate on, but the fight extends. They're dealing no damage to anyone. Haro just gets to walk forward unfazed, continuously auto-attack. Holder is so strong at this point. Already at a 2-item advantage.
I mean, you saw Holder just grab Bin by the horns and slam him down on Huanfeng's head. There's nothing that Huanfeng could do to survive that one. And
I might have missed it, but can you imagine had Ruby just held his ultimate and deleted Huanfeng right away?
Yeah, I mean, the fight's over.
Yeah, the fight would be over right away. So, Suning going back to something that has not worked.
Going back to the old faithful strategy that doesn't work. It's good to see development in the LPL. I'm telling
you guys, Bard and Ashe, Suning's win.
Yeah. I mean, they could have gone for the Bard anyway without the Ashe. Maybe it would have worked for them.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying they need both together, right? Not even necessarily those champions. They need some sort of reliable, like, long-range engage or playing around something like a Twisted Fate with side lanes.
Uh-oh. Rogue Warriors have found another pick. And I'm not going to get excited for this one because Bin's already fallen down. And I really don't see much of a way that they can win the fight. Holder cares not about your turret, just wanders under and finds a solo kill on Wanfeng. Lane's going to chase down SOFM, who he'll buy some time, but the box means that he's going nowhere on this one. We'll just see who gets the kill. It's Wuji to pick that one up. This is feeling a little bit like game one, just the other way around.
It would probably be a stretch, but I'm just saying, Baron's up in 10 seconds.
Hey, they've got Nash with the Blade of the Rune King. It's possible. In the meantime, Harrow is looking for a tower in the mid lane. Angel and Sword Art are here, though, to answer.
Yeah, so they do secure 2 turrets, but of course, as I said, the Baron was just a stretch. Would have been interesting to see them go. That would be a very LPL-esque play, right?
I would have loved to see it.
Yeah, me as well, but not going for it. Still going to find a bunch of kills, a bunch of turrets, and like you said, this game just feels like the absolute reverse of game one.
Maybe Ashe is the pick. Maybe Ashe is suddenly, when all other AD carries are banned out, she's 5th on the tier list right now. So long as the other 4 AD carries are banned, she's the best champion in the game.
She's been involved in 4 of 11 kills.
Hey, I'm just saying, man.
So you're saying she has like a moral support,
yeah,
like passive
like
aura?
It's like an emotional thing, you know? Because she's the war leader, right? She's the war mother. I don't know if you've ever played Ashe. She doesn't stop talking about it. Oh my god, I don't care about your war in the Freljord. I just want to shoot my arrows.
You know, it could be something along those lines, right? You have an Ashe like, hey, we have an enchanted crystal arrow. Let's play more confident and aggressive. And you don't actually need the Ashe herself to do anything.
Yeah, you just need the morale boost that is her ultimate. It's kind of like a hidden passive. It's kind of like, hang on. Blade's in trouble here. No, he's not. They're not going to do anything. They're flashing under the tower instead. The arrow went wide. The confidence was not enough from the ultimate. And now, oh no, Suning have gone too far. This is all going wrong. I thought this was it, but Wanfeng's going to fall. Bin is going to go down as well. It looks so good for a second there, Lyric, but nah, Rogue Warriors have got this.
I like to complete 180. You're building up Suning. I'm getting hyped with him. Like, oh yeah, Suning going in, diving everyone. And it's like, okay, they go too far. And again, they're completely reliant on Wanfeng. We've seen Gallios do a lot of damage before, but typically it was like Teacher Maul snowballing in 10 minutes of the game. This Galio is 1, 2, and 4. Not the same.
Well, you did say that you wanted to see Rogue Warriors go for the Baron. And they are going to go for the Baron now. SOFM is over the wall. He can go for it. Oh, no. The TP. Rogue Warriors back away. Good respect for Rogue Warriors. Honestly, I was just expecting a scrap.
I didn't, just for the fact that you are going against the Lee Sin, does have the execute on his Q, so it would be risky. But let's see what happened here. So Angel flashing in, getting the taunt. They kill Zhang Wuji, but then they go in so far in between Rogue Warriors' turrets, and Rogue Warriors say, hey, guess what? Zhang Wuji's not the Fed member of our team. It's our Set, our Trundle, and our Syndra. So they feel fine to just opt into the fight, find picks for themselves.
Zhang Wuji isn't the Fed member of our team. It's the entire rest of the team that's really Fed. Yeah, and I feel like this was like a moment of like almost identity crisis here for Suning, because they're aware that they're really, really far behind, but they were like, here's the strategy. We dive the tier 2. We just pretend we're really far ahead, and maybe it'll just turn out like we are.
And Rogue Warriors are going to bait this fight. Call of the Forge God is not up, so that's going to be a massive ultimate that we don't have.
This might just go down before we even get a fight, honestly. Voidseeker goes in, 4,000 on the Baron. Lay's here to try and zone people away. SOFM's arrived though, and he could be able to steal this one. Holder taking a good chunk of damage. Haymaker onto the front line here. Sword Art having to back away. His Stoneplate already procced, but he survives. Holder flashes to safety. Knock up onto the team, and maybe Suning are turning things around. I can't believe my eyes right now as Harrow jumped on by Wanfeng, who's decided to pop off with a triple.
Yeah, great fight.
Oh, we're not done, because SOFM gets another. Suning are going to get the Baron.
And Rogue Warriors are the ones trying to bait out that fight. I was keeping my eyes on Holder to see if he could get anything done to Huanfeng, but not able to get there. Instead, focused on killing Bin and Sword Art. Of course, then ulting Bin kind of to the side, which gave the rest of Suning's tanks the ability to just walk forward and kill Rogue Warriors carries.
And Bin was like, ha ha ha, I've hit level 13, which means I'm completely invincible with my Sunfire Cape. And honestly, it just felt like Rogue Warriors didn't do enough damage, which is the opposite of what we've seen for the rest of the game.
Let's keep our eyes on Ruby and Zheng Wuji. We see Holder get pulled in. He's dealing with the side. Ruby's not hitting anyone as of right now.
To the side?
Yeah, no, you just look at Ruby. He didn't hit any of his Qs, not able to land anything on Huanfeng. Yeah, didn't ult, went down before he ulted. Was trying to build up his amount of spheres before he did, but...
The thing is, right, I get, you Q on the floor as Syndra to get spheres, right? I understand that concept. But when you're in a team fight,
yeah, no, I agree.
Surely queuing on an enemy is slightly more optimal than just queuing the floor.
Yeah, and his scat of the week didn't hit anyone.
Well, Angel's spamming some emotes in the mid lane there, and this is going to be a tower going down. And Suning have suddenly closed the gold gap in a major way. They're only 3,000 behind now. They were looking towards 10,000 behind earlier. Wait, no, they weren't.
Level 1, you said, hey, getting this first blood feels great on Lee Sin. I disagreed. I said the Kai'Sa. And now look at this Kai'Sa Munchables. Look at this 5-3.
It was all because of that kill on Lee Sin. It set him up for success. If he hadn't had the gold to finish his boots, he couldn't have got in that fight.
He got that kill to have this false confidence, make Rogue Warriors think he's going to make these plays, die over and over again.
League of Legends is a very emotional game. The reason you pick Ashe is for the morale boost of the ultimate. The reason you give SOFM the first kill is so that he's confident in a fight 25 minutes later when you're 5,000 gone down.
I like it. I like it.
We live in a world of logic here in the LPL, and it's beautiful.
Moving on to how teams should use this Baron. I like what Suning are doing. They're not playing all...
Shifting gears back to reality for a second.
Munchables.
Tell me about Baron.
I want to hear more about your Lee Sin getting a first blood logic.
There is none. That's the secret. There is no logic.
Point is...
No. Well, no, go on.
Suning are doing a good job of not playing out the whole map. Their composition is a lot more about being around as a 5-man unit, right? You still do have this singular threat in Huanfeng and then a bunch of meat shields, so...
Hang on, we've got a fight. No, we don't. Bin got pillared, and it means that he can't hit the second half of his ultimate. So, continue third.
And I also like that they have Galio in the side lane, since Galio is the one, right, with that global presence. So if Rogue Warriors, let's say, give up top side, try to commit a 5v4 mid, Angel will always be able to follow up.
The turret going on down. And that is going to be just 1,000 gold between the two teams. Another Ocean Drake spawning in 30 seconds. And let's just revisit what we said right at the start, right? This is a singular threat comp out of Suning. That singular threat is Huanfeng on the Kai'Sa. Well, Kai'Sa's hit 3 items. And we all know what happens when Kai'Sa hits 3 items. Another BF sword just picked up as well. Huanfeng is getting terrifying.
Yeah, he's at a very big point. So he does enough now to be that sole damage dealer for his team. And you know, Angel and SOFM will offer a bit, but as long as they're peeling, and we saw like the last team fight, to me, as long as Ruby and Holder are kind of kept at bay, those are the two big things for Suning.
This could be a big decider right now as do you see both teams posturing to go for a fight.
Ruby also has the Liandry, so that will be really massive in these team fights against this beefy front line.
What do you make of the build from Ruby here, going with the Spellbinder GLP Liandries?
It's kind of strange where Spellbinder is definitely more of a like snowball get ahead build, but then you kind of pivot into Liandries, which right is a lot more about staying in combat and burning out these tanks. So it feels like he had to make this pivot with how the game kind of changed.
Hang on, we've got the Dragon going down here in favor of Suning. Sword Art cues the wall. Not ideal. Oh, no, he didn't. It was available right there. In goes the Galio, knock up across the team. Huanfeng's still free firing. Keep your eyes on the Kai'Sa right now as he's looking straight towards Holder to shut down the top lane carry. SOFM gets away with his life. Wuji now on the front line pulls out with the Dark Passage, and in goes Angel for a taunt. It's only going to get onto Harrow, though, the tank of the team, and Huanfeng happy to free fire, happy to get onto Wuji, and happy to shut down the whole squad. Once again, SOFM getting onto Ruby as well. Misses the Q, but you know what? We'll let you off this time.
And Suning are just going to be able to push the base, and once again, probably going to have a sub 30-minute game.
Do they actually win right here?
Yes.
TP
Yes,
from
they
Angel, 20 seconds on the dead timers. Suning have no right to win this game after the appalling early game, but you know what? It doesn't matter. They win the Miracle team fights, and Suning are going to take a 2-0 morale-devastating win over Rogue Warriors, who, I mean, Rogue Warriors, there's a lot to work on, but Suning, this is a moment of happiness for them.
Suning were on a 3-series loss streak, so being able to bounce back with a, I wouldn't say expected win because we didn't exactly have like a depth of where Rogue Warriors is supposed to be, but